كان الفضل بن يحيى, one of the earlier scholars, so dutiful to his parents, to his father. Once he entered to jail with his father, and the guard refused to give them any warm water or even to give them wood to have a fire inside their cells. So what he did, after his father slept, they had a candle. He started putting the water in a small container and holding this container above the candle to warm the water. He spent the whole night warming the water, and when his father woke up for Fajr, he found a warm water to perform wudu with. Muhammad ibn Sirin, they said he used to talk to his mother with a very low voice, and if you see him talking to his mother, you will think that he's sick or there is something wrong with him. كأنه يشتكي شيئا. Once they asked Zayn al-Abidin, one of the greatest earlier scholars, we know that you are so good to your mother, but why we have not seen you eating with your mother from the same plate ever? He said, Wallahi, I did not eat with her just because I'm afraid. If I'm eating with her, I will take something, she wished to eat it, and I don't know about it, then I will be disrespectful in that case. So I would rather let her eat until she finishes, then I will eat later. Talq ibn Habib, one of those scholars, one of those worshippers who realized the meaning of knowledge and the result of being a scholar or a knowledgeable person, that you will be good to your parents. He used to kiss his mother's head every day, and he will never walk on the roof while his mother in the room, out of respect, to walk above her. Ibn al-Qasim, one of Imam Malik's students, once he was teaching Al-Muwatta, the book of Imam Malik in Hadith, and all of a sudden his students found him, stood up. Then one of his students noticed that his mother, she just passed away outside walking. Then he felt it's not proper for him to be sitting while his mother walking or standing. Haywat ibn Shurayh, they said everybody less than what he been described, except Haywat ibn Shurayh, and he deserved to be described better than what they said about him. Once he was teaching in Masjid Rasulullah. Can you imagine that? He's a sheikh, he's teaching in the Prophet ﷺ mosque, hundreds of students with him. All of a sudden his mother walked in to the class and said to his son, Ya Haywa, take the seeds and give it to the chicken, feed the chicken. He took the seeds, then he left the class and he went to the chicken to feed them, then he came back to the class. He didn't say, I'm busy, why you don't come later? As we hear today from a lot of our brothers and sisters, the way they reply to their mother or their father when they requested them or they asked them to do something, might be very important sometimes to take to them the doctor or something. Ibn al-Munkadir, one of the earlier scholars, said, my brother spent the whole night praying, and he spent the whole night giving massage to my mother, and wallahi, I believe my night better than his night. Bundar, he wanted to go to seek the knowledge of hadith, to hear the Prophet ﷺ's hadith. Then his mother said, my son, I cannot live without you. Please stay with me. Don't leave me. Then he said, I obey her. And I left traveling to collect the hadith for my mother, to be good to her, to have a company with her in the days which is left in her life or remain in her life. And guess what? He said, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed my knowledge in hadith. To be dutiful to your parents, to obey them whenever they ask you to do what is good, what is permissible. And the best example here is Ismail alayhi salam with his father. To the extent that his father told him, I have seen in my dream they've been ordered to sacrifice you, to kill you. He said, my father, do whatever you've been ordered. You will find me among those people who has patient. Amir ibn Abdullah ibn Zubayr, he said, I spent 1 year, I have not asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anything except that He will forgive to my father. Giving sadaqah, passing charity, and help feeding the poor, and the intention that the reward of that will go to your parents. Paying their loans off, making endowment on their behalf. So whatever comes from that endowment or that business, the reward of it, it will go to them. And the best thing to do to your parents, if they are not Muslims, to call them to Islam. If they are ignorant of the Sharia, to teach them the Islam. If they are practicing bid'ah, or they practicing religion in a wrong way, to call them to the right path. This is the best thing ever you can offer to your parents. And all of you know the story of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. When he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam crying, then the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, why ya Abu Hurairah are you crying? He said, Ya Rasulullah, no one after you more beloved to me than my mother. When my mother knew that I'm a Muslim, she said bad words about you and about Islam. And I couldn't take that and I couldn't reply because I love her most. Then the Prophet ﷺ made dua to his mother. Then he ran back to his mother because he know that the Prophet ﷺ dua is acceptable. Then he found his mother telling him, don't enter. And she made ghusl and she accepted shahada. Then the Prophet ﷺ saw Abu Hurairah after a while laughing. Then he said, amazing Abu Hurairah, just a few minutes crying and now you're laughing. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I went back to my mother and she just accepted Islam. That makes him so happy. He was so worried about his mother that she's not Muslim yet. That's a message for our new brother and sister who just entered Islam. That's a message for all the brothers and sisters who's worried about his father and mother, about their future in the day and hereafter, about their destiny. And the Prophet ﷺ said, O Allah, make Abu Hurairah and his mother close to all the believers' heart, and let all the hypocrites hate Abu Hurairah and his mother. Therefore Abu Hurairah said, Wallahi, whoever loves me and my mother, he's a believer. And whoever hates me and my mother, he's a disbeliever. So you know now, brothers and sisters, what's the status of those people who curse Abu Hurairah or saying bad things about him, radiallahu anhu.